The Grindhouse. It is a term for a theater that mainly shows low-budget horror, splatter, and exploitation films for adults. It was popular from the 1920s and unfortunately died in the 80s. It was home to many grotesque, hardcore, sex, and violence-infused films, many of which call home to pornographic films, slasher films, and dubbed martial art films, all of which share the same quality, being B-list films. One, however, it stands out above the rest: samurai cinema. Japan produced these films like America did westerns, but in the 1970s there was a sudden boom in this samurai cinema, which was only brought down by the overexposure of the genre. Most of these films' themes were post-prime, in a sense, about an end of an era, often seeing the main character deal with the changes around them. American audiences didn't share the same appreciation for Eastern arts. Many great themes of loss and cultural adaptability were lost in translation and subjugated to cheap presentation. Many of these films would only gain a cult status at best, held only behind by the borders of the past. This is Katana Zero, a return to Chanbara. Released in 2019, this game presents itself as a hyper-violence, drug-induced murder session. With a retro VHS aesthetic, bright, intoxicating colors, and crazy balls-to-the-wall fast-paced action, it follows a mysterious samurai who can control time using the drug Chronos. It's not all fun and games, however, because he also goes to therapy for his repeating nightmares. In the game, you receive kill contracts from your therapist and uncover the mystery of the experimental drug. Developed by Akisoft and published under Devolver Digital, let's take a look to understand why Katana Zero is so important. No question about it, Katana Zero falls under the drugged murder type of game. You know, it's the type of category that's really made up by me. I like to think of it as such because I've noticed a lot of games are sorta have the same similar message and themes attached to them, i.e. heavy drug usage, trippy visuals, lots of blood involved in the game of course, and disassociation, hints of disassociation of course with a mixture of drug and psychotic tendencies. Think games like Hotline Miami and My Friend Pedro, for example. Both games that involve heavy drug usage, disassociation, lots of blood, and of course the fast-paced action, or you could make it fast-paced however you want, but it really encourages a lot of fast-paced action. And Katana Zero is no different. Coincidentally, all of these games were also published under Devolver Digital. Katana Zero itself is a 2D platformer, think akin to Mario, and instead of using a gun like you do in many Hotline games, use a sword. Don't think a lot like it, because movement is equally as fast-paced, with the added ability of the dash roll. Many level layouts encourage fast-paced chain kills and almost speedrun tactics to get from A to B the fastest way possible. Of course, what this game has specially added to it that calls it its own is time manipulation. In the game, you could slow down time, as mentioned earlier, with the press of a button. This could give you the easy chance to deflect bullets, sneak on enemies, and just give you more time to think quicker and have a quicker reaction. Of course, the game isn't always killing, as sometimes there are really jarring breathers involved. 1 second you could be murdering a whole group of people, drowning in blood, with blood-soaked clothes and all. And then the next, you're chilling out in your apartment, drinking some of that herbal tea. A lot akin to hacking and slashing an entire hotel because it's your mission, when just before you're talking to a receptionist about anime. Of course, with the added proposition and I guess prologue at the very beginning to Chunbara, how does the game like Katana Zero actually fit into that? Well, I like to think akin to the messages and themes of Chanbara, many of which again reflect a loss and a transition from time. Our main character, named Zero in Katana Zero, is akin to that. The protagonist is a lost samurai in a brand new world, akin to Samurai Jack. He's flung into this cyberpunk world, super futuristic, and all the people he faces uses modern technologies while he uses a traditional form of fighting. But in the midst of the storm of bullets and the flings of brass knuckles, you stand in its way with a sword and robes. The game's underlying themes on veterans also act as an allegory to the end of an era, and it's that last spark of nobility battling against the sea of faceless goons, where the fight is literally against time itself. And of course, I'd like to personally think that the VHS visuals seen throughout the game and literal menu are a nod back to the era in which Chunbara was born and lost to. This has been Katana Zero, a return to Chunbara. Thank you.